Hi, I'm Dan, and today we're going to take a look at rebuilding a website in Elements. Now, this website was sent to us by a customer, and he was saying, oh, how would you rebuild this in Elements? So I thought it would be a great tutorial to record, to just go through this and put this together. Now, this might be quite a long video, but it will show you how to build out most of this website. And if you're new to Elements, you could pick up a lot of tips. So let's get started. I'm going to open the website. And here it is. It's just a demo template type website, but he was wondering how to create this in Elements. So let's go ahead and start a new project. So I've got a completely blank project here, and we'll get started building. Now, I'm going to start with the banner at the top to get something going. So let's go over here. I'm going to go to my components and let's drop on a container. And I'm going to put a little bit of spacing on the container just so we can see what we're doing. I always like to do this. And we're going to need some header text in here. So let's go ahead and drop in some text. And I'm going to go back to the design. Let's copy this text, move back here. Let's paste that in. Now I'm going to align my text and let's change the size of it. Let's go something quite large. I'll move this up and this down just so we can see what we're doing. I think we want it larger than that, maybe up to 6. And let's increase the weight of it. And let's change our background color. So I've reselected the container and I'm going to change the background, and let's pick an orange. We can, of course, customize these colors in the theme studio, so you can pick whatever you want. But because Tailwind comes with these preset colors, we're just going to go with this one. Let's change the color of our text as well to get that to being white. Okay, and let's make our window a little bit bigger. And while I'm in here, I'm just going to go to our screens and I'm going to enable the XL screen size. And that's so I can run this to the edge of the browser there, and we can hopefully build something that looks more like this, this preview. I've got a little Safari extension here called What the Font, and this is really useful for peeking and seeing what exactly people are using. And here, if I click on this, he's using Inter 700. So I'm going to go over to the theme studio. I'm going to go to my font families. I'm going to add a new font and let's call this Inter. And then I'm going to go to Google Fonts, and I know they have Inter because it's a very popular font. So I'm going to select that. So that means now when we come back over here, we can go to General and we can pick our font, which is Inter. Boom, and it can match this. Now I think that's a little bit lighter in weight, so we'll come down. And that is looking pretty good. So that's done. We need this subheading here, and I'm going to do that. I'm just going to duplicate that and paste this text in. That's obviously too big, so let's we don't need that. Let's come right down on this. I think we can probably go with XL, and we don't want it too bold. We can kind of see what size this is if we click on here again. Size 20px. Okay, and you can set these things up in the theme studio. We could come in here and we could make some new font styles, font sizes, and sort all that out. But we're just going to do it by eye here, and that looks pretty good. We can fine tune this to get it to wrap later. It's a bit of an odd choice on this wrapping. Let's switch that off. We'll ignore that for now. And what I'm going to do, we're going to drop in a button. And we just want to copy this button here. So let's select the button. We're going to want some more padding on this. I'm going to go to spacing and I'm going to increase the left and right padding. And let's double click into here and say start your journey. That's looking pretty good. Background, we want to set this to white. Do they have a rollover color? So it goes a little bit transparent or orange there on the rollover. So on the end color here, let's go orange. and the lightest orange. Oh, maybe we want one more. Yeah, that's pretty good. And let's change the text so we can see what we're doing. They've got an orange shade of text to match the background. We can do that, and I think it's a little bit larger. And again, maybe we want to adjust the padding on here. Or let's just change the hover color as well. Okay, so right, yeah, let's go to spacing, and we'll change the top and bottom padding. Want that a little bit more. Maybe that's too much. Still too much. We'll go 3. That's looking pretty good. We do need to do the borders because we want a curved border on here. Let's do large. That's looking pretty good. Probably the rollover here is a bit too orange. So what we can do on the background there on the end, let's just knock that. Let's go. I think what we'll do is we'll make this white, and then we'll just take the opacity down a little bit. Yeah, so it's really subtle. Same as this one. Yeah. That's looking good. We want to increase the distance between these items, and we can do this in multiple ways. We can use a flex box, but I'm going to just select the container, and then on the content layout, we're just going to add this, we're going to add a gap between each item. And that will, every item you lay in here, it will just add that 5 gap between each of them. And the gap between these two is looking too big, and that's probably because of the line height on this. So we can, let's move down that line height. Yeah, we'll leave it there. So we're looking pretty good here, and maybe if we wanted a little bit more spacing, this spacing looks good, but I want a little bit more spacing there. What I could do is just put a bit of padding on here. We'll enable that, and I'll just put a little bit of padding on the bottom of the text just to push the button further away. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So we've already built a banner there, pretty quick to do, and we can get on to the other content now. I'll come back to the menu in a minute. I'm going to put a little bit more spacing on here, just to make our menu a bit bigger. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Right, let's save this. Example website, we'll just save that on the desktop. Okay, so next section, again, we're going to need another container. And again, I am going to set some spacing on this. Boom, and it's got a bit of a grey background here. So again, I'm going to pick a background color. You notice we've got images, gradients, and video here, but we only want, this is a simple site, so we only need a solid color. And I'm going to pick the lightest gray there. Might not come through on the video too well, but I can tell this is, we'll see once we've got these white boxes in place. So here we're going to need, again, some text. I'm going to just duplicate this, because I've got my styles all set up, and then I can just change the color. We'll go there, we'll change that, and then we'll just change the size. I think it wants to be a bit bigger than that. 4 maybe. That looks pretty good. And then we've got some text underneath. Let's copy that, paste it in, and again we will, that's in kind of a lighter grey, so we'll pick a lighter grey there, and I think the size is a bit smaller as well, maybe large. So that's looking pretty good. Now we need to do these boxes. This is a bit more fun. I think we're going to use a grid for this. So I've dropped a grid in because I think when this, yeah, as this changes size, you can see we've got 4 boxes, 2 columns, and then it goes down to 1. So that's pretty easy to do in Elements. What we're going to do, I'm going to drop a container into here. because on our grid it's automatically set up to have 4 columns. And let's just get a bit of space underneath here, because this is feeling like I'm working down the bottom of the page a little bit. So I'm just going to put this in just so I can scroll this up. Right, our container, what we're going to need, this is a white background. It's got a bit of a grey border and a hover and a shadow, which is no problem. Let's change the background of this to white. We'll just go white there, and let's get some content in here. Let's have a look. They've got a SVG icon and 2 bits of text. I'm going to copy this into there. Actually, let's bring out the node browser, then you can see how the page is being built up as well while I do this. So we've got our container, yeah, got our grid container, which is our card. I'll rename this to card 1. And then we've got some text. I need some subtext. Let's zoom that up a bit so we can see it. Yeah, we've got some subtext in the card. Okay, let's put, you can see there's a bit of padding all around this. Let's put some padding on there, which is the sizing, no, which is the spacing. I'm going to put some padding on all the sides. Maybe a little bit more, maybe they've gone more for. We'll do that. This text is a lot smaller, so let's go large, left aligned. And left aligned here, and maybe that's base. I think that's smaller text, in fact. We'll go small. Or maybe let's stick at base, and we'll just increase. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. Oh, let's get the proper text in there. And let's copy that. Okay, and there's probably more padding on that than we have. Let's add a little bit more. We'll go 6. Yeah, this is looking pretty good now, and what we need is an SVG. So let's pop an SVG in here. And I downloaded a few SVGs before we started, just the 4 that I knew I would need here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my resources, and I can just drop these SVG icons in here. And then, what's that? The brain and the sizing on this. We want to change the sizing. Let's go to 12, maybe a bit smaller. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And let's space these apart. We're going to do the same thing we did with this, and I'm going to put a gap on the layout. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We're going to need some curved corners on this. Radius, large. We'll do large to match the button, I think. And we need a little outline, so let's go slate. Oh, we need to give it the outline a width, so I'm going to change it from the theme, because I don't want 0 or 2. I mean, we could set up new theme styles here, but I'm just going to go and switch the theming off and just change these manually to 1 a piece. Yeah, just so it's a thin outline there. Hopefully you can see that on the video. We're going to need a drop shadow as well. So there's a subtle box shadow, and let's make that larger, or maybe we'll go medium. Yeah, that's pretty good. And what we can do, you see these boxes, they hover. We can do this as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to, from static, I'm going to switch it to hover. So on the start, it's going to be medium, and on the end it is going to be large. So now when I hover, you can see that shadow getting bigger. We just need to move the card up a little bit when we hover over it, and to do that I'm going to use a transform, and again we want hover because we want it to change when we hover. Let's move that up a little bit. So on the end we want to move 10. No, that's sorry, that's on the horizontal. We want it on the vertical. Let's move 10px, minus 10 because we're going to go up. There we are. Let's just check that. They've got a bit more of a subtle move, so let's maybe go 5. And we can preview this in the browser to see how we're looking. So already, let's move that one there. So already you can see we're really, this copy of this website, the text isn't in quite the same position, but that's okay. You could fiddle with that, play around and get it looking how you want. But you can see quite quickly we're building up a copy of this website in our own, for us to edit and change how we like. So this is looking pretty good. So what I might do now, I might just adjust the spacing on this a little bit. Let's go to 5. What I'm going to do now, these cards, now I've designed this card, I think this is a good point to turn this into a global, because then any changes we make to one of the cards will be made to all of the cards. So to turn this into a global, I can right click and say convert to global. So you can do that in the editor, or in here I can say, whoops, I can right click on here and say convert to global. And when I build a global, it puts it in the globals area in my components for me to reuse. So now what I can do, I can take it from here and I can drop it into my grid, and then we get another one, and I'm going to do one more and one more. This is looking great. Now we need some gaps down the middle, so I'm going to select my grid and I'm going to put a horizontal gap in. Let's have a look. They've probably got more than 5 there, maybe 8. And I'll put a vertical, we'll need a vertical gap as well for when we have more of these cards for the next row. Let's remove that one. So this is looking good. Now we need a bit of space above and below here, and what I'll probably do is I'll probably put this on the grid. We'll add a bit of margin on the top. There we go, just to bring it down. So there, we've got our 4 cards, and if you've not used globals before, you're probably thinking, well, that's great, but all that text is the same. But that's all right, because there we have global overrides. So let's do the SVGs first. So we'll go to SVG, and here there's a little link icon, and that only appears when they're globals. And what we want to do, we want to break the link and make it that asset not attached to the global, or that value. So now I can go to my resources and let's see what they've got. They've got the target on that one, so I drop in the target, and you'll notice it doesn't get overwritten, because if I just drop an image into this one, I haven't broken the link here, and if I drop in an image here, you'll notice it replaces it with the ones with the other ones, but this one stays the same. Let's just reset that to the brain, and because that's what we want for the AI powered strategy. And on this one, let's break the link because we want the little bar graph. Boom, that's in there. And then on this one, we want to break the link again, and we want the people. So that's great. We've got our custom icons. And now for content, it works slightly differently. If you've got text content, there's this global overrides button, and that allows us to, again, override the text. So I switch that on, and then that means I can change the title. And again, if I don't click that and just start writing in here, you can see all the other ones change as well. But of course we want to break that link, and I'll do data analytics in there. And again, we want to break that link, override the global, and we'll call this one expert team. So this is really nice because it means all these cards are the same global, but they've got different content in them, and it means we can easily change the style of these. You know, if I later decide actually I want these to be a dark grey, I can just change it to dark grey. Or we decide, you know, we want to change the borders, give them a dark outline. You can see they all change together. But if I wanted to maybe on this one have a different background color, I could break this link again and it will only do that one. So this is really powerful. There we are, and I can reset it. So this is really powerful that you can override these values. But it does mean we've got these cards now, and I can use as many of them as I want wherever I want and customize them. So this is a really nice. So that's globals. Really handy. And then again, we've got the same kind of setup here. This background is white. We'll use this container that I copied down here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste that again. So again, what have we got here? We've got a title and a subheading. So I'm going to copy those down here. Boom. What our clients say. Let's paste that in there. Boom. And then what I think I'm going to do for these, we need the grid again. We need a grid. Pop that in. And we'll pop some spacing on that. I think we put a margin of 10. Yep. And then I'm going to drop a global in here and give this as a starting point. And what I can do, I can right click on here and say unlink from global, because I want to make these new cards. Because these got different layouts and things. So I'm going to unlink that from the global. And now this is just a standalone instance of this, and we can design these. So let's move that text up there, paste this in here, and I'm going to get rid of the SVG because we don't need that anymore. And we just want these 3 lines of text down here. Let's duplicate that and duplicate again. Let's select those 3, and I would say the size is smaller, so we'll just go to the base size, and let's get some actual content in there. Okay, and our card is doing that gap on the content layout, and we don't want that because we want to push these things all together. So that's looking pretty good. What I do want is we want to make that's all italic. We want to make this italic. So I think the best way to do that, we can go in here, we can select all this and just set it to italic like that. This, we're going to change this to be non-bold because that's how it looks there. And the same for this one. And we'll set the color of this to orange. Lovely. These two are probably small, I think. That's looking better, and we'll set the color of that to be a lighter gray. Yeah. And I might just set a little gap on there. Okay, let's have a look at that. All right. I mean, we could spend a lot more time playing around with the spacing and getting it looking a little bit more similar. But this gives you enough. This gives you the idea. Now they've only got three boxes along here, so we select the grid and I go to the columns and rows, and let's set that to 3. And then I can just let's just call this quote card. I can copy this and we will copy and paste. Copy and paste. Now you see here, I haven't turned this into a global. This is arguably I could do, but I've shown you how globals work. So you could do the same here. But I'm just being lazy here, and let's set the gap. I think, what did we do above? I think we did 8 on the grid above. Let's have a look. Yeah, we set 8. Yeah, so we could come in here and change the content. Have these different names. Michael Chen, he is the CEO. Let's pop that in there. So bit of copying and pasting just so these look different. But you can see it's really quick to build this up. Once you know how elements works, it makes these really easy to do. Now that border is too dark, so I've just noticed that. So let's brighten that up a bit. I think probably that one's good. And here, because this is a global, it changed all of them. These are not globals, but we do have multiple selections, so I can select them all and go to the borders, and I can just change them. So there, like that. So this is looking good. This is a very, this is a, oh, we missed this section. But this is, very easy to do. We could just copy and paste this, and now we've got these sections. Let's just do how it works. Let's pop this in here. This is a very straightforward website. We'll get rid of these, and we don't need that to be italic because yeah, let's duplicate that. Scheduler call. The circle looks quite fun to do, so we'll have a go at doing that. I think we could do that with a container and put a number in it, but we'll see. We'll have a go and see what happens. So yeah, let's make that, and we'll set that in the middle. That's got some padding on it, I think, or spacing. Yes, it has. Schedule a call, book an appointment. Again, we'll align this center. I think we probably we'll add the container, and then we'll space this out. Let's get rid of these 2 quote cards. Yeah, so we want this number in a circle. Now I'm wondering the best way to do this. I'm wondering if we can do it with a container, and we'll put a number in it. Let's put the number 1 there, and on this container I am going to set let's set the background first. We want orange. So we want an orange background. We want that text number to be 1. Whoops. There we are. So that's white. Borders, we're going to set these to full, which will make it circular. Which will make it fully curved. But we need to set the sizing of this. So I think what we will do, we'll set the width. Let's turn these off. Theme. Pressing these switches it from the theme settings to arbitrary value, so you can put in whatever value you want. So let's just do 200px and 200px. Oh, I'm setting that on the text. I don't want to do that. That's not what we want. We want to set the size on the container. So let's do that. Sizing. Yep. Let's switch that to theme spacing. We'll break it, set it to 200px, just so we can see what we're doing. Set it to theme, 200px. Boom. And now we've got a circle. This is looking good. Obviously too big. So we could say 56. 56. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. 50. So you can see we've created this using a container. I made the borders full and then we set it to an exact size, and we've just got the text in there that is centered. And let's space these things apart, because that's obviously what they've done there. Content layout, we're going to add a gap to, I think that looks pretty good. This text should be darker and the sizing should be bigger, probably XL. Yeah, looking pretty good. Again, you know, if you're copying this, if you wanted an exact copy, I could spend a lot more time digging into what they were using and the sizes of everything, but we're just doing a quick copy here. So yeah, all right, so that's the first, we'll call this how it works. And let's convert this into a global. And then now we've got our how it works global, and we'll drop these in here. And I select my text, override the value, and we'll make that one 2. Come in here, override the value, and we'll make this one 3. Whoops. Oh, that is exactly what I've forgotten to do. Let's put that back in here, and you can see they're all changing. What I need to do, select that, highlight here, override the text, paste, and let's do that once more. See results. Let's not forget to do that. Override the value, paste this in. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's preview this in the browser. All right, so we've got our 3 cards there, or 4 cards, and then we've got our 3 here with our nice little numbers on it. Scroll down, what our clients say. Let me just check on the site there. Oh yeah, these are both white sections. I won't bother doing this section because I think by at this point, you know how to lay out these cards, and it's just a matter of changing the text and doing the button. So I think you've got this. Really straightforward stuff. Then really that is just the that's just the header again, which we can copy and paste, and then let's have a look. We can just drag down the bottom here. Let's get those. There we are. Should probably rename some of these. If you were doing this properly, you would rename these so you could look through your node browser and kind of see what bit is doing what. That just leaves us with the menu, and it's a sticky menu. There'll be a little bit of configuring here to get that going. Before I do that, one thing I did want to say about the idea behind you want to use the theme values really, because it means if you change the theme or you want a global way to change everything, then it all changes together. Now, because we've used orange throughout this site, what I can do in the theme studio, in our colors, I can find orange in here, like I've got orange here, and I can override this orange. So if I do that, it's going to override the color. And now, if I change this, you can see it's changing the color of our site, and everything with that orange color, all the different shades are changed. So this is perfect. You know, if the client says, oh, actually don't like orange, want another color, you can just, if you've used the theme colors, then it's really easy to override everything. It's really easy to change the look of the whole site. So this is really cool. So it's really important to make sure you use the right colors, use the theme studio settings, because it will make your life a lot easier when you want to come to make changes. Yeah, very cool. But let's ditch that and we'll go back to orange because we want it to match our original. And let's get on with this header just before we finish up, or this menu. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag in our standard navigation that we have. And we just need to get about customizing. It's a bit fiddly to just go through and customize all these settings. Now I'm going to call this page features, and we're going to need a few more pages for our menu. We want, let's how it works. Yep. And one more, pricing. So you can see it's automatically created our navigation items for us, and it's using the title of our site here, and we want that as AI marketing. Oops, marketing, AI marketing. There we go. Let's get that to update. There we are. And now we just need to customize the way this looks, which we can do with all the settings in here. Let's have a look. So this is the default state, and then we've got an active state for the button. So I'll this doesn't, okay, maybe orange could be the active state. Let's do that. Of course it's orange. So there, so our active state is orange, and then if we roll over we get that nice orange color. So this is looking pretty good. Our title, let's have a look. We want to align these to the right as well. And then our title, we want that to be, they got orange, of course it's orange again. We want that to be orange, and we want the weight and the size to be a bit bigger. Now here I could use the logo that is specified in here, or I could use a drop zone and place anything in there. So I could drop an image in there or an SVG. So you could use whatever you like, but we'll stick to using this title because that's what they've got, and that looks good. That is fine. Spacing, we want to make this menu a little bit chunkier. So let's put some padding on there, not that chunky. 5, 4. Okay, let's get a button on there as well. We'll just pop that in there, and that says get started. And we'll quickly change this to orange. And this one looks like it has a bit of a grad on it, so let's do that. Orange. So we'll set 2 colors to orange. You can have 3 colors if you want, a 3-point gradient. And to right, yeah. Okay, that looks pretty good, and we'll just need to do that for the end as well. We need an end state, so we'll probably just go a little bit darker when we hover over it. We need the borders, so I switch that to static and XL to match our other buttons. That's good. Yeah, or I think it was actually large. Let's go to large. And we do need a bit of padding here. So I think, yeah, we'll just create a bit of spacing there. So I use the margin just to push those items away, maybe a little bit less, 8. And we'll do a bit of padding inside the button to make it bigger, to match the other one. Okay, and the text, I would say the text is probably small. So this is looking pretty good. I'm just going to change the spacing to make it match a little bit more. So this is looking pretty good. You can see how quickly this is coming together. So the thing left to do, this has got borders. Oh no, I don't think so. No, that's all looking good. So the only thing left to do is to get this to float over the top, because at the moment, let's go and view this in the browser. At the moment, our menu is stuck at the top there, which is not what we want. We want it to, where's their, I was getting confused then about their site and our site. They're looking so similar. We want this to stick to the top. Now, this requires changing some advanced settings. We have, this is quite a common thing that people want to do. They want to do a sticky menu. So in the Elements manual here, we've got some how-to guides and build a sticky menu. And we've got some videos on it to show you how to do that and also how to animate it when you scroll down the page. But we just want it to be stuck at the top. So here it's telling me I've got to set the layout position to sticky, the Z index in layout, set it highest to make sure it floats above everything. And we need a uniform inset to let the browser know it should be set down. It's going to float. So let's do those changes. We're going to go to layout and position. We want to set it to sticky. And the Z index, we're going to put that on custom, and I'm just going to put that on 100. And the inset, this is the important part. We need to set that to uniform and 0. And now our menu sticks to the top. So you can see without doing this inset, it wasn't working. So you need to give that a value, and then it starts to work. But you can see that offsets it from the top of the screen there. But we just want to set that to 0. On their menu, they've got this nice kind of frosted glass effect, and of course we can do that as well. So let's reduce the opacity on the background so we can see that a little bit, and then we need to blur it. So we're going to go to our filters, static, and a backdrop blur. Let's set it to 10 or maybe less, 5. So there we go. So now when we scroll down, we can see everything behind, and it's just getting nicely blurred. Maybe we'll increase that a bit. This is looking pretty good, and we could probably put a little shadow on here as well, which is quite nice. Maybe a little small shadow. Yeah, just to offset it from the background there. Oops. So I would say this is pretty good. In this shorter space of time, we've managed to recreate this website. You can obviously play around with this a lot, and we could have got it even closer looking, but it's just, you know, it's how much time you want to spend and how whether you really want it to look exactly the same, or really it's good to copy these as a good base starting point, and then you've got something nice to work with and you can make it your own. So changing the style. So oh, that is one thing we didn't do. We haven't done the responsiveness, so I can show you how to do that. I think that's worthwhile doing now. So let's do that. So if I go to grid, and when I'm on mobile, we want all of these to be in line. So what we want to set the columns to 1 on that grid. So you can see that's all looking good. Then when I come up the sizes, I need to decide when I want to go to 2 columns. And I think when I get to this larger mobile tablet size, I think maybe then let's switch to 2 columns. And then when I'm at this size, definitely we'll switch to 4 columns. And to do these changes, you can see here I pressed the dot here, and that's like an override. That's kind of saying as we move up in size, when I get to here, make it this value. And you can change this with a lot of settings in here. If it has a dot by it, you can configure it at each breakpoint for your site. So let's press this and change it to 4. So now when I move up and down in size, you can see that happening. So let's check this out in the browser. So there we go. And if I come in, yeah, you can see they're getting smaller, and then it's just and these run to the edge. And if I wanted to stop that happening, I could select my container here, and on spacing I could just put a little 5 pixel border and refresh, and now you can see that's brought that content away from the edge. So you'd want to do that with all these other sections as well. You can set how these things, and you can obviously change the font sizes as you come up and down the sizes if you want. So it works exactly the same. If I go to mobile and I think this is too big here, you ideally set the mobile size first. So let's set that on 2x, for example. And as I come up to this size, I hit the blue button and I think, yeah, maybe we'll go to 4x here. And when I get to here, we'll go up to the 6x. So now in my preview, you can see when I scale down, that text is getting smaller and larger. So it will look great on mobile and still readable. So you can go through and do that with all your text styles. And this is where globals come in, because if you have these headings, you could set them up at globals. So you only need to make those changes once. And then if you reuse that global heading throughout your site, then once you've set it up and you want to make changes, it will change throughout your entire site. So it's really powerful. So in a short space of time, we have copied that site, and you could continue to tweak this, make it your own, build out all the other pages. What I would recommend doing is probably making these two things globals, and then you could just drop those onto your other pages. Like here, you know, we would call this menu, and then on this menu I would say convert to global, and now I have a menu here. I would go to my other pages and I can drop on a menu, this is why the configurable UI is nice, because we can do something like this, and I can click through the pages and drop these on. And I'll do the same thing with the header here, and I could customize it on each page. So now if we review this in the browser, we can click through the pages. There's obviously nothing on these, but it's all working. So very quickly, I could have a whole website done here. I could build this website in a day and have all my content in here and have it all done. So yeah, hope you found this kind of build it tutorial useful. I'll build other sites in the future to show you how to build other kind of designs. Yeah, if you have any questions about this, post on the forum and let me know, and I can show you how to do other things, or if you have questions about setting things up or changing things. But yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.